Hey, quick announcement from the operations team. There will be a television crew walking around for this talk. So if you do not want the back of your head filmed, go towards the back. Thank you.
Oh, okay. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining this talk. We are Team T5. Today, our topic is CloudDragon's Credential Factory is powering up its espionage activities against all the policymakers. I'm Zih-Cing Liao, also known as Duck LL. Now I work at Team T5 as a senior threat intelligence researcher. I have been invited by international conferences such as Black Hat, HITB, Hikon, and Coblue. Also, I'm a core member of UCCU Hacker.
I'm Yu-Tung Chang. I work at Team T5 as a threat intelligence researcher. My research focuses on cyber threat in APAC region.
Okay. This is our agenda. First, we will briefly introduce the basic information of CloudDragon. Second, we will introduce the key point of this talk, Credential Factory. Third, we will show a real-world case from our instant response investigation. Finally, in conclusion, we will give some key takeaway and mitigation. I'm going to make an introduction of APT group CloudDragon. Before starting, we should know APT group Kinsuki first. Kinsuki is very active North Korean APT, and CloudDragon is a subgroup of Kinsuki defined by Team T5. We found that CloudDragon launched not only cyber espionage campaigns, but also cybercrime activities. They engage in a lot of phishing attacks. They develop a lot of unique malware, such as Dreambug, BabyShark, PNA Store, and KGH-RAT. In the past, we see that CloudDragon mainly targets South Korea. In recent years, we have observed that CloudDragon's target scope is expanding, including attacks aimed at the United Nations, the United States, and Japan. The targeted industry include government, education, research institute, NGO, media, and technology companies. Next is today's key point, Credential Factory. This is the complex workflow of CloudDragon's Credential Factory. We believe this Credential Factory is CloudDragon's special attack cycle. CloudDragon can use this Credential Factory to keep fueling its massive attacks. We built a specialized cyber kill chain to illustrate Credential Factory. You can see that there are 3 small cycles from top to bottom: daily cycle, campaign cycle, and post-exploit cycle. Next, we will introduce each cycle one by one. First is the daily cycle. The core of the daily cycle is phishing. Actors get lots of mail credentials through phishing. Those content from compromised account will be the next target, will be the next phishing target. Actors can use compromised account and private document to do social engineering and deploy malware. So next, we are going to introduce 3 kinds of phishing: basic phishing, Proxy Mirror, and phishing bot. In the past, we observed lots of phishing targets on the two Korean portals, Naver and Dang. And now, there are more phishing websites designed to be used on international targets like Google, Yahoo, and AOL. Except basic phishing, we continually observe advanced phishing techniques. Here, we have an advanced phishing technique called Proxy Mirror. Proxy Mirror is a phishing skill used by CloudDragon. The backend of phishing site will fetch the page from the real website immediately. This technique can make phishing sites update automatically and make those phishing sites seem legitimate. Also, the phishing site can take the account and password entered by the user to the real website for verification. Another advanced phishing technique is the phishing bot. The phishing site passes users' input to bot via AJAX. The bot runs Selenium to control a browser. All users' operations will be synchronized to the bot browser in real time. Let's see how the phishing bot works. When the victim inputs their username and password to the phishing page, the bot will open a browser and try to log in. If it successfully logs in, the real website in that browser will show the OTP page. After bot confirms, the victim will be redirected to a fake OTP page. The victim will input the OTP code received from their cell phone. The bot will enter the OTP code into the browser and log in successfully. Finally, the bot redirects the user page to the real website. So if the victim is already logged in the real website, the victim cannot identify that the login step was done by phishing bot. The phishing bot can easily access the account protected by two-factor authentication. More about phishing, you can see our CloudDragon's research Operation Fisherman published at HITB last year. Okay, let's tackle to introduce the next part.
Okay, then this is the campaign cycle. When CloudDragon starts a targeted attack, the first step is reconnaissance. They target employees, use malicious document, and deploy malware. Or they can develop a customized phishing site to get some credentials. If targeting employees doesn't work, they will target external service such as mail, VPN, MDM, and website. If no relevant vulnerability are found, the actor will transfer the target to the vendors of those services. If those vendors are compromised, actors may get the maintenance documents and review the source code. Finally, with the credentials or zero-day vulnerability to invention the original target. So we will show what kind of decoy they used and introduce two new malwares, AFMail and Dust. As we mentioned in campaign cycle, CloudDragon delivers malwares with phishing documents. The actors will discuss themselves as journalists and send the phishing document to the victims. The content of these documents might be professional questions, interview manuscripts, and study reports. Here, I'm going to introduce BabyShark, one of the top movies used by CloudDragon's phishing documents. The phishing documents are usually filled with garbled text and ask the victim to enable the macro. The macro first downloads the clear decoy, then it explores the running process and detects antivirus software. It detects antivirus software for downloading corresponding components. And these components use different file type and different persistence to bypass the detection. Finally, they fetch another VB script or bat file from the C2 server. And usually, they are used to install another malware. In BabyShark, CloudDragon used a unique transposition cipher. This encryption might use on strings, payloads, or communication. The value of the key D might change in different cases. In this picture, we could see how the macro detects antivirus software. The macro checks the running process name to find out which antivirus software is running. Then, it downloads corresponding components. This year, we found a new malware, AFMail, deployed by BabyShark. AFMail is a malicious browser extension. Since the webmail becomes more and more popular, CloudDragon developed this malware for mail theft. Usually, AFMail can steal mail, attachment, or browsing history. At the beginning, actors gather some information for AFMail installation. They deploy a VB script to handle this information gathering. It downloads PowerShell script like getchrome.ps1 to collect browser info. These browser info will be written into several .dat files and finally upload to C2 server. The browser stores extension meta in preference and generates a signature in secure preference. So in order to install the extension, actors must modify the preference and secure preference. In this picture, getchrome.ps1 will upload these two preference files to C2 server. After the malicious preference files are ready, actor deploys AFMail with BabyShark. The installer changes preference files and launches a PowerShell as a watchdog. This watchdog will open DevTool page. Therefore, AFMail can capture the network activity through DevTools. The two JavaScript will fetch additional payloads from C2 server. This is the manifest of AFMail. We can see that it sets up a background script and DevTool page. We call this more AFMail because of its name field. We also observe that extension uses a fake icon of BNs. Okay, this is the CD2.js, which is fetched by dev.js. If users' active page match the whitelist, data will be sent to CD1.js. In this picture, the whitelist is Gmail, and Outlook. The CD1.js is fetched by BG.js. It will extract the mail meta, contents, and attachment from the raw data. In this picture, the function getMail_Google use a hardcore index to find corresponding elements. Next, we will introduce Dust, the new backdoor of CloudDragon. We discovered it on this February. Dust is a shellcode-based modular backdoor. This is the first time we observed that CloudDragon used shellcode-based backdoor. It is named from its PDB strings, and it supports different communication modes. It supports different communication methods by changing models. There are two versions of Dust, DNS and HTTP. Dust will be started via registry server 32. This is a usual method of CloudDragon, just like jump-bug. After startup, it will launch a shellcode loader. The shellcode loader will decrypt the embedded payload with 1 byte XOR and run Dust in memory. Dust will initialize lots of runtime variables and stores in structure. With this structure, Dust can dynamically call Windows API easily. In the DNS version, Dust communicates with C2 via DNS tunnel. The different type of communication will take different prefix. All the data will be encrypted and encoded with back16. Here is an example. The data will be put on the subdomain. Okay, the data encryption is as follows. It is a simple 1 byte operation. Addition with a key and less result. The HTTP version only differs in communications. Dust will put the PHP code in the HTTP header named CSRF token. The encryption is the same as DNS version, but the encoded method is changed to back64. The C2 server of Dust will execute the PHP code in the HTTP header. This is a very weird design. From the PHP code, we can surmise the logic of Dust C2 server communication. There is a special mechanism in the communication of Dust HTTP version. Malware will check the existence of a specific session file on the C2 server. Data will be transferred if only the section file exists. And the data will delete itself after a few minutes. We surmise that this is a dial and connect mechanism. The controller and malware must connect to C2 at the same time. If one of them disconnects, the communication will be terminated. This ensures that commands and victim data will not be left on C2 server. The backdoor function of Dust is as follows. Include common backdoor, such as shell command and file operations. It also supports communication with plugins through pipe. In addition to Dust backdoor, we also found the actor combined Cobalt Strike with related components. Besides, we observed the actor abuse public service like using GitHub as a download site and hiding the real IP with Ngrok. And final one is the post-exploit cycle. It shows the operation after actor get the access of intranet. We have seen CloudDragon in this cycle get more credential and data through lateral movement. In this stage, CloudDragon prefers to use hacking tool rather than their spatial backdoor. CloudDragon uses lots of hacking tools in post-exploit cycle. We divide them into 3 parts. There are public hacking tools, CloudDragon developed tools, and remote desktop tool, AnyDesk. We found public hacking tools. There are TGCD, a port forwarding tool, Ngrok, a reverse proxy tool that allows actors access machine in private network. And the last one is SMRig. It's a crypto miner. We also found that they build their hacking tools with script language. There are screenshot tool, Keylogger, and Credential Stealer. The PowerShell loader will decode the payload and run the snapshot tool in memory. This tool will take screenshot and upload to C2 server. Same as screenshot tool, the PowerShell loader decodes and executes Keylogger. This Keylogger just writes keylog files, and the keylog files will be uploaded by another VB script. The Credential Stealer is triggered at user login. It pops out a dialog box to ask the victims to enter their credentials. Now, I'm going to introduce the 3rd kind of hacking tool, remote desktop tool, AnyDesk. People can use AnyDesk to access the computer without public IP. We observed that CloudDragon abused AnyDesk as a backdoor. They developed some related components like installer, loader, hiding tool, Watchdog, and modify config files. Here, I'm going to introduce the tool used by CloudDragon to hide AnyDesk. There are 2 components, iObserve and iUpdate. iObserve will register iUpdate as a service for persistence. And the iUpdate hides AnyDesk, Windows system tray and notify icon. As the picture shows, iUpdate calls show window function to hide the window. And this picture shows how it hides system tray and notify icon. The Watchdog deploys customized config files and launch AnyDesk. Besides, it can fetch additional commands from C2 server. The Watchdog will put 2 config files, system config and service config, to program data \AnyDesk. we can see the ID is in system config, and the password hash and the salt are in service config. Okay, we surmise that actor might set up the ID and password in their AnyDesk, and therefore the existing ID and customized password will be written into the config. Then they deploy these config files to victim's computer. Finally, actor might use AnyDesk to access victim's computer with non-credential. Okay, Doug will show the case study.
Okay, let's take a look at a real-world case. How CloudDragon leveraged Credential Factory to launch a series of attacks. This is CloudDragon's campaign through a VPN 0-day. This campaign happened last year. We divided this campaign into 3 parts: phishing operation, 0-day vulnerability, and malware main zip rate. And sorry that in the following talk, we will skip some technical detail because the CVE number is under the application process. Last year, Korea Atomic Energy Research Institute, KAERI, published an announcement that had been hacked and found some suspicious VPN access. And they believe that attacker is from North Korea. At the moment, we got a case of instant response using the same VPN product. We will disclose how our partner was compromised by the same VPN product, but it is important to know that we didn't know the detail of attack against KAERI. The following investigation is not related to KAERI. It is interesting that we have seen a phishing attack against a VPN vendor, and the phishing site is related to CloudDragon C2. And after 2 months, the VPN 0-day incident happened. After our investigation, we found some suspicious web access. A web shell named session_check.jsp was found on the VPN server. This is a very simple JSP web shell. Attacker can easily execute shell command on the website. What is the worst is that the permission of web service is the root. The root account can access all the VPN data such as password hash, access log, and database. Of course, the VPN can access the intranet of the company. Attackers can leverage the VPN server to do lateral movements. So what is the root cause? Before the web shell was created, we found another suspicious access. After reviewing the source code, we found a 0-day vulnerability. The source code is shown as below. There is a file upload function, but without authentication. This is a very common web vulnerability, arbitrary upload. And there's no file check in this function. The actor can upload a web shell with this vulnerability. Based on the version information, there may be 117 public servers with this vulnerability. Most of them are located in South Korea. A new backdoor main zip rate was also discovered during our investigation. This backdoor is used in lateral movements. The C2 server of main-zip array is actually the compromised VPN server. The installer will drop the loader and write a zip file as a blob to the registry. The loader will read the registry value, unzip, and load the main-zip rate. Main-zip rate will also read the configuration, which is unzipped from the same resource. In communication, data will be encrypted, encoded, and packed to a zip file. The name of main-zip is from its debug log get module from CND main-zip. All commands and parameters are packed in zip format. In addition to shell command and injection function, main-zip rate supports lots of modules. We observe some modules such as injector, keylogger, and keylogger screenshot, and remote desktop. Let's recap the campaign timeline. CloudDragon built a customized phishing site for VPN vendor. From the phishing site, actors successfully got some credentials from employees. Using those credentials, actors can access the intranet of VPN company. After lateral movements, they reviewed the source code and found a zero-day vulnerability. They used this zero-day vulnerability to break into customer of the VPN product. They deploy main-zip array and some hacking tool to control the compromised hosts. Okay, in conclusion, let's quickly recap our talks. We introduced CloudDragon's malicious activities. We found that their recent targets are international policymakers, such as think tanks, universities, and media. The credential factory consists of 3 cycles. In daily cycle, they like to use phishing and social engineering to get lots of credentials and private documents. And using those private documents in the campaign cycle, we understand their tactic and malware they used. In post-exploit cycle, we can see various hacking tools and the abuse of remote desktop tool. Finally, we present how to use Credential Factory to establish a critical campaign, which is a VPN zero-day vulnerability campaign. Yeah. So here, we provide some mitigation. First, phishing email may be sent from trusted contacts. People should verify the information when opening suspicious file or website. Browsers have become the confidential place on our computer. So there will be more and more APT groups developing malicious browser extension. Therefore, it is necessary to check whether any malicious browser extensions are installed regularly. It is recommended to ban the use of remote desktop tool in enterprise. The remote desktop tool may become a corner where hackers hide. Ensure that the maintenance account and password are changed. A vendor should not design a backdoor for maintenance. You should update all the service and device to the latest version. Last but not least, following our research for update APT activities. Okay, this is our reference. Okay, so this has been our presentation today. May you have any question? Please contact us via email. And thank you.